Now let's head to Doha, where Luciano Zaccara joins us. He's an associate professor in Gulf politics at Qatar University. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining us here on TRT World. What's your sense? Are these negotiations going to lead to an actual ceasefire?
Well, we are getting a little bit closer. I'm still not that optimistic as Blinken seems to be. I think it all depends on how the meeting with Netanyahu is going today, and I think the timing is very clear. The draft text of the UNC Security Council resolution is there, and it has not the stronger tone that Blinken is saying. So it depends on how the conversation is going with Netanyahu. If Blinken is able to convince Netanyahu that an operation in Rafah is not desirable, it's not a good thing, and he has to stop that, I think that maybe this will contribute to change or not that wording in the draft that would be accepted or signed or not. In that regard, we have to see that how the conversations are continuing here. But again, it all depends on the Israeli willingness to stop the offensive in Rafah. I think this is the main point.
I mean, I want to ask you about that. Do you think that there's enough incentive in these offers on the table for both sides to actually agree? Or do you think that Netanyahu will ultimately decide against any kind of peace agreement as long as Hamas is still operational?
Well, I mean, the pressure has been mounting everywhere. I mean, for the first time, Blinken, the UK, everybody's demanding verbally the ceasefire, the limitation of the operation of Israel in the region. What can ask or what can offer Israel in exchange to that in order to accept a peace deal or a negotiation or permanent ceasefire or long-term ceasefire? I assume it has to do with the unconditional release of all the hostages, something that is in the table in the negotiations. Not sure if this will happen if there is no restriction on the operation, on the military operation. So again, the ball is on the Israeli roof. They have the capacity to stop this offensive, to reduce the military operations in the north of Gaza, and to allow the return of Palestinians to the north. If that is not guaranteed, it doesn't matter what the resolution of the United Nations Security Council says, because it will not be able to reach any agreement or any commitment or any compromise from the Hamas side either.
And Professor, let's take a look at the bigger picture here. I mean, the Arab ministers yesterday, they presented sort of a common vision for the future there in Cairo, one that didn't actually include those infamous Arab 3 no's. Instead, there's an actual offer for a long-standing peace for the future. Do you think that we're getting closer to a historic agreement for an actual two-state solution?
To be honest, a solution that is offered by head of states that they are not precisely the Palestinian or not including what the Palestinian want or what the Palestinian needs, I don't think will reach anywhere. I mean, we will always clash with the same issue in the coming years since the will of the Palestinian people is not respected. I mean, we saw an evolution of Abraham Accords that they basically discarded, or they were done on the detriment of the Palestinian cause and on the solution of the two states. Nobody is really thinking on that right now. I don't see how an overall agreement with Arab leaders will lead to that if there is no more pressure from the international community and mainly from the United States in order to get this solution of the two states that was decided a long time ago to be really implemented. But today we have seen that how Israeli officials are still pushing for settlements in Gaza. So the Israeli society or the Israeli political establishment is going in the opposite direction that makes impossible to think about the two-state solution.
Professor Zaccara, thank you so much for joining us. You work at the Qatar University. Thank you so much for joining us here on TRT World.